Maya Sharma woke to the familiar hum of the ceiling fan spinning above her. The morning light seeped through half-closed blinds, tracing faded lines across the beige walls of their apartment. Rohan, her husband of 7 years, was already dressed, sitting at the edge of the bed, tying his shoelaces with quiet precision. "Breakfast on the table," he said, without turning. "Thanks," she murmured, watching his back. Their conversations had become fragments, necessary but emotionless. The days, once filled with late-night laughter and spontaneous road trips, had given way to silent commutes and screen-lit dinners. Rohan was dependable, kind in the most structured sense, but the emotional presence he once exuded now felt like a closed door she no longer had a key to. At work, the hum was different. The office buzzed with the kind of energy Maya hadn't felt in years. Light-hearted sarcasm, team huddles, shared playlists humming faintly from someone's desk speaker. It was here, among the tapping keyboards and scent of roasted coffee, that Maya met Arjun Mehta. He wasn't the kind of man who turned heads immediately. He was understated, always in crisp shirts with sleeves casually rolled, his smile more thoughtful than showy. He worked in sales, 2 floors above her HR office, but found frequent excuses to visit. Their first real conversation happened at the printer, over a jammed tray and a sarcastic comment about outdated machines. "You'd think a company this big could afford a printer that doesn't eat paper for breakfast," he quipped. She chuckled, surprised by her own amusement. Maybe it's on a strict carb diet. That moment, small, seemingly inconsequential, was the beginning of something that neither of them named. In the weeks that followed, their encounters multiplied, sometimes deliberate, sometimes accidental. A shared elevator ride, a coffee. She didn't ask for but found on her desk with a sticky note, "Try this. No sugar, just like you said." A 5-minute conversation that stretched into 10, 15, until someone interrupted with real work. Arjun listened with an attentiveness Maya hadn't experienced in years. He asked about her ideas during a joint project, remembered her favorite. Author noticed when she changed the way she pinned her hair. Rohan never commented on her hair anymore, or her dress, or the small ways she tried to keep a spark alive at home. One Friday afternoon, while reviewing a performance file together in the conference room, Maya mentioned, almost absently, "Sometimes I feel like I live 2 lives. One at home, one here." Arjun didn't flinch. He closed the file gently, looked at her, not intrusively, but with a kind of quiet understanding that made her breath hitch. "Which one feels more like you?" She didn't answer. She didn't have to. By the time the office emptied out, and only the cleaners remained, Maya sat at her desk staring at her phone. Rohan had texted a reminder to pick up detergent. Nothing else. No, "How was your day?" or "Miss you." Just detergent. She stared at the message until the letters blurred. Arjun passed her on the way out, slowed, and said, "You should get some rest. You look heavy today." "Yeah," she said. "It's been a long week." He nodded, then hesitated. "You want to grab a coffee? Just as coworkers who've survived a brutal HR audit?" She considered it. For a moment, the idea seemed harmless. 2 colleagues winding down. But her heart beat faster. Not from guilt, from anticipation. "I shouldn't," she said finally, offering a polite smile. "Maybe another time." He didn't push, just smiled back with a quiet, "All right, take care, Maya," and left. As she gathered her things, her reflection caught in the darkened office window. She didn't recognize the look in her own eyes, half curiosity, half ache. That night, lying beside Rohan in the same bed they'd shared for years, Maya watched the ceiling and listened to his steady, sleeping breath. She wanted to reach for him, say something, anything, that would bridge the distance. But her hand stayed on her stomach, still and uncertain. And somewhere in the quiet, a seed took root, not of betrayal, yet, but of longing. A longing to be seen. The coffee invitation came again, this time on a Wednesday evening after a late meeting. Maya hesitated only briefly before nodding. The office had mostly emptied, and the streets outside were washed in the golden hush of sunset. They walked to a quiet cafe around the corner, a place with dim lights and the smell of cinnamon. Arjun ordered for them both. No sugar, just like before. Their conversation flowed easily. Films, childhood stories, opinions on leadership, the oddities of corporate life. But beneath the banter, something unspoken lingered, an emotional proximity. Neither had acknowledged, yet both felt acutely. "I haven't laughed like this in a long time," Maya admitted, stirring her coffee without drinking it. "Same," Arjun said, eyes locked on hers. "It's strange, isn't it? How two people can just click." She smiled, then looked away. Her wedding ring caught the overhead light like a silent witness. They walked back in the dark. A soft rain had begun, light enough to ignore until it wasn't. When it quickened, they ducked under the overhang of a closed bookstore. Close. Too close. Maya stood still, heartbeat climbing with every second of silence between them. The street lamp cast a faint glow across Arjun's face, highlighting the quiet restraint in his eyes. "You're shivering," he said softly. "I'm fine," she replied, though she wasn't. Not from the cold. And then, without planning or resistance, the space between them dissolved. The kiss wasn't rushed. It unfolded slowly, as if waiting years to happen. Her hands found his shoulders instinctively. His thumb brushed her cheek. When they parted, neither spoke. The rain had eased, but the storm within her had only begun. That night, Maya drove home on autopilot. She sat in her car outside her building for 15 minutes, staring at the dashboard. When she walked in, Rohan was on the couch, watching the news, a bowl of cereal in his hand. "You're late," he said, not looking up. "Yeah, meetings ran over," she replied, her voice perfectly steady. She felt the lie settle on her, like wet clothing, uncomfortable, clinging, but not enough to remove. In the days that followed, their connection deepened, no longer confined to glances or shared jokes. There were lunches in quiet corners, texts that lingered long past midnight, touches disguised as accidents. The thrill of secrecy laced every interaction, making even routine office days pulse with quiet electricity. But with passion came guilt. It arrived in waves, unexpected, unrelenting. She'd catch her reflection in a mirror, mid-laughter with Arjun, and feel the sting. She'd fold Rohan's laundry and wonder what he would say if he knew. Some nights she couldn't sleep. Others, she didn't want to. One Saturday, Arjun suggested a short trip outside the city. Just a day. Somewhere no one knows us. She said no at first, but the idea clung to her. Escape. Simplicity. Him. They went the following weekend. The day was full of soft sunlight and winding roads, and for a moment, reality blurred. They held hands in public. They ate at a roadside dhaba, laughing over shared dal and jeera rice. Maya's phone buzzed once. Rohan's name on the screen. She turned it face down. In the hotel room, everything slowed. Arjun kissed her forehead before her lips, as though asking permission to be more than a fantasy. They undressed each other, gently, reverently, like this was something sacred, not scandalous. Afterwards, Maya lay beneath thin sheets, staring at the ceiling of a strange room, feeling more alive than she had in years, and more lost. Arjun turned to her. I meant it, that I've never felt this way before. She looked at him, her breath catching slightly. I believe you, she whispered. But belief and clarity are not the same. Back in the city, the divide between her two lives widened. Maya dressed with more care, arrived at work earlier, smiled. More freely. Yet, at home, she grew quieter. Rohan noticed the change, but mistook it for stress. You've been distant lately, he said one evening. I'm just tired, she replied. He nodded. Let me know if I can help. She almost laughed, not cruelly, just brokenly. He didn't know. He couldn't help, not now. That night, Arjun sent a voice note. I think I'm falling for you. Maya listened to it twice, then deleted. It hit not because she didn't feel something, but because she did. And for the first time since the kiss, she asked herself, where? The unraveling didn't come with shouting or slammed doors. It came quietly, like most truths do. It began with a receipt. Maya had carelessly left it tucked into her laptop sleeve. A small restaurant outside the city. A date that didn't match any work trip. A name Rohan didn't recognize scribbled at the top. Arjun Mehta. He didn't ask that night. Instead, he made dinner, a rare gesture these days, and watched her carefully over the rim of his glass. Maya noticed the way he studied her, as though trying to solve an equation that had suddenly changed variables. The next morning, he said, it plainly, who is Arjun? Maya froze mid-step, coffee spilling slightly from the mug in her hand. Her instinct was denial. But something in Rohan's voice, calm, quiet, defeated, made her stop. He's someone from work, she said. That's not what I asked. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was full of things neither of them wanted to say aloud. She sat down, placed the mug carefully on the table. I didn't plan for it. I didn't wake up one day looking for something else. Did you fall in love with him? Maya looked away. I don't know. He nodded slowly. How long? Months. Rohan closed his eyes, as if bracing himself against an unseen impact. But when he spoke again, his voice didn't rise. I thought you were just pulling away because of stress. I didn't realize it was because you were already gone. I wasn't gone, she whispered. Not at first. That night, Rohan packed a small bag and left. He didn't say for how long. The door clicked shut behind him with a softness that felt crueler than any scream. Left alone in the quiet apartment, Maya wandered the rooms like a guest in her own life. She picked up their wedding photo, her fingers tracing the smile she once wore with such certainty. Arjun called, but she didn't answer. She needed air, space, silence. The next morning, she sat in a park near their apartment, notebook in hand. For the first time, she tried to write down what had happened. Not as an excuse, but as confession. She listed everything she had lost, everything she had found, and everything that now felt impossibly uncertain. When Arjun finally found her the following evening, he looked concerned but relieved. I've been calling, he said. I was worried. I know, she said softly. I just needed time. He sat beside her on the bench, his hand brushing hers. Is it over? With him? She hesitated. He left. And us? He asked. Maya turned to face him. You've been good to me, Arjun. You made me feel seen again. And I'm grateful. Truly. But I don't know if this is what I want. Or if I just wanted not to feel alone. His jaw tightened. So I was a distraction. No, she said firmly. You were a mirror. You showed me what I was missing. But you're not the fix. No one is. The truth hurt, for both of them. Arjun stood, hands in his pockets, and nodded. I wish things were different. So do I. He walked away without looking back. Maya stayed on the bench until the sun dipped below the skyline, the city lights flickering on like small awakenings. In the weeks that followed, she didn't rush to call Rohan. She didn't chase after Arjun. Instead, she moved slowly through her days, rebuilding a relationship with herself. She picked up hobbies long abandoned. She went to therapy. She cried when she needed to. And sometimes she smiled, for no reason at all. One Sunday afternoon, a message arrived. From Rohan. I'm going to be in the city next weekend. Can we talk? She stared at the screen for a long time before replying. From Maya. Yes, I'd like that tea. Not because she wanted to fix everything overnight, but because conversations had to start somewhere. And maybe, in that space between endings and beginnings, there was still something worth salvaging. Maya stood by the window, watching. As the wind played with the curtains, the apartment was quiet, but not empty. Not anymore.